Every single day, we're all making choices, right? Just weighing the pros and cons. But what happens when that choice isn't just about you? What if it involves millions of dollars, or affects thousands of people, or, shapes the future of an entire industry? Well, there's a powerful tool for exactly that, and today we're going to break it all down.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with weighing your options, then get into the official decision-making playbook. We'll look at some real-world examples, cover 3 key rules for success, and wrap it all up with why these smart choices matter so much. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, weighing your options. Let's talk about making those everyday choices, both the big and the small.
So, imagine this choice is yours. New solar panels for the roof, or a brand new car in the driveway. What do? Your mind immediately starts spinning, right? The car, that's instant freedom, convenience. But the solar panels, they promise lower energy bills, a smaller carbon footprint way down the line. Without even realizing it, you're already running a personal cost-benefit analysis in your head.
And that little mental calculation you just did, well, that's exactly what big businesses and even governments do, just on a massive, massive scale. See, when the stakes are that high, a simple pros and cons list just isn't going to cut it. You need something way more rigorous, something that's really driven by data.
And that, right there, brings us to the official playbook for these kinds of decisions. So let's define it. What is cost-benefit analysis?
Okay, so at its heart, cost-benefit analysis, or CBA for short, is a systematic process. And that word, systematic, is absolutely key. It's all about taking every single potential positive outcome, all the benefits, and literally weighing them against all the negatives, the costs. The whole point is to see if a project, a policy, whatever it is really worth it. It's about replacing those gut feelings with cold, hard, structured evidence.
All right, theory is one thing, but this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at CBA out in the real world. We're going to see how this one powerful tool works across 3 totally different sectors.
First up, let's dive into energy efficiency. We hear about it all the time, right? The need to make our buildings and industries more efficient. But think about it. How does a company actually decide if some massive, super expensive upgrade is really worth the investment?
Well, this is how they figure it out. On one side of the scale, the costs, you've got that huge upfront expense for all the new equipment and upgrades. But on the other side, the benefits. You've got the direct payback from lower energy bills month after month. Plus, you might even get government incentives. A good CBA lays it all out and shows you clear as day if those long-term savings are going to crush that initial investment.
Okay, now let's jump to a completely different field, agriculture and ecosystems. This is a tricky one. How in the world do you decide the value of something like restoring a natural landscape? The benefits here aren't always so easy to slap a price tag on.
And this is where CBA has to get really creative. It has to figure out how to account for these less tangible benefits. So the cost, that's pretty clear. It's the price of the project, like restoring peatlands. But the benefits? That includes something called ecosystem services, which is basically a fancy term for all the valuable jobs nature does for us for free, like cleaning our water or sucking carbon out of the air. And you can often monetize those things. Plus, it includes social benefits, like improving the lives and welfare of local farmers. Suddenly, CBA gives us a framework to put a real value on nature itself. Pretty cool, right?
And for our last case study, let's bring it into the digital world, cybersecurity. Think about it. Companies spend billions of dollars trying to protect themselves from cyber attacks. But how do they actually know if they're spending that money wisely?
Here's the calculation, and this is a really crucial point. The benefit in this case is actually a cost that you avoid. The cost is obvious, it's the new security investment. But the benefit? That's the millions of dollars you save by stopping a data breach before it happens. Not to mention the huge value of just keeping the lights on and ensuring your operations continue without some catastrophic disruption. It's literally an analysis of a crisis that you hope never, ever happens.
So, we've seen what CBA can do. But look, just having the tool isn't enough. You've got to use it the right way. And that brings us to 3 absolutely essential rules for success. Okay, rule number 1. Start with great data. A CDA is only as good as the numbers you put into it. It's that simple. Getting comprehensive, validated data is totally non-negotiable. Rule 2. Bring people together. These big decisions affect real people, communities, employees, customers, so you have to engage them transparently. It's key. And finally, rule number 3. Adapt and evolve.
The world doesn't stand still, right? A good analysis isn't some report that collects dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing document that you have to reevaluate and manage over time.
All right, that brings us to our final section. Let's pull all this together and talk about why making these smart choices really matters.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, cost-benefit analysis gives us that essential structured framework we need for tackling really complex decisions. We've seen just how versatile it is. It works for everything from energy to tech. And most importantly, we know its success really comes down to three things: having good data, making sure you collaborate, and being flexible enough to adapt.
Ultimately, it's just a powerful way of thinking that can bring some real clarity to almost any challenge. And that leaves me with one final question for you to think about. What's the next big decision coming up in your community, or maybe your workplace, or even just in your own life, that could use this kind of clear-eyed thinking?